All right, today's Monday. I think it's the 25th of February. And today's project is I'm gonna clean up this bulkhead connector junction box that came with the American autowire. It doesn't come with a trim piece, as I said in my previous video. Blows my mind why it doesn't. And also the screws they're made to go from inside out, and they stick out at least an inch out the firewall. So I think they should redesign that, maybe more appealing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this, or try at least. I went to the hardware store and I got some 3-inch long number 10 machine bolts. So we're going to put that from the outside in. That's going to fix that problem. And I'm going to cut me a little picture frame out of this cutting board. I borrowed the cutting board from inside the house, so I'm gonna have to sort that out with the old lady later on. But so I'm gonna cut this little picture frame out of this cutting board. Use a Dremel tool, a little cutoff wheel on it. It's a lot more precise than using the die grinder pneumatic. And basically, I'm just gonna make a picture frame, try and fit it on there, make it to where the screws hold it in. And maybe rattle can it black or something, or maybe even base coat. I don't know, we'll figure something out. But that's today's project. I'm gonna try and clean this up. And then unfortunately, I think the motor and transmission might have to come out again. When I dropped them in, I didn't feel good about the way the torque converter mated to the flywheel. And I had a guy comment on the video, and along with some research that I was doing, some homework, and something's not right. I don't think that torque converter was completely seated in the transmission. I should have checked it once I mated it outside the car instead of bolting it in to the car, to the frame. So unfortunately, that's going to come out. The good thing is it doesn't take much. Power steering hoses, gas line, take the distributor cap off, and unbolt it. Two motor mounts and transmission mount, it should come right out. I'm gonna attempt to maybe try and fix it without taking it out first. But first project is we're getting this bulkhead cleaned up. So this is part 1. Stay tuned. All right, here's part 2 of my little plastic video. I just used the cutting board. I cut me a little rough template there. Drilled out some holes for the screws. Pretty straightforward. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna clean it up because it's entirely too big. So maybe round the edges a little bit, get creative with it, clean it up about right here. But just basically it's a little bit of trimming, a little bit of sanding with the Dremel. That's all I use, Dremel and a drill. I did have to do it twice though, because the first one, the hole was too big. But cheap fix. I don't even know how much the cutting board costs, probably $2. And we're looking good. So I'm just gonna clean it up now, round it off, paint it, sand it, and stuff like that. Probably just paint it black, and bring y'all back when it's done. All right, here's the conclusion of this bulkhead connector. Basically, what I did was and some people might laugh at this, but I think it looks a lot better. I used an old cutting board, plastic cutting board, and just kind of made a template out. And then just trimmed it to fit with the Dremel and a little cutoff wheel on the Dremel, and then just kind of sanded it, scuffed it, and rattle canned it black. And it's kind of textured, so it looks like, I think it looks like it kind of goes together. It's nice and secure. The screws I got at the hardware store, they were like 65 cents or something like that, almost free. And then the cutting board we already had, paint already had. So this fix essentially cost me nothing. But at first glance, I think it looks a lot better than it did. It covers up the cut. I did have to trim the little corner pieces on the connector so that the thing will sit flush. Just took a second with the Dremel. So instead of the screws going out from the car out, they're from the car in now. Let me see, put the flash on. And pretty simple, just 2 little screws, hold it together. Feeling a lot better about it. It's nice and secure, it's not going anywhere. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. This idea came to me in the middle of the night, and I just kind of fed off of it. And so that's a wrap. I don't know why American Autowire doesn't make this. I mean, they can essentially have these things made for probably 3 cents a piece or cheaper from overseas or wherever. And it would sure make the finishing touch on the kits look a lot better. Maybe they offer it. I tried to look. They don't offer that. So just an idea. Threw something together. I mean, I guess you can make one out of steel and paint it or chrome it, paint it to match, or plastic, or I mean, this opportunity. I mean, the ideas are endless. So that's a wrap. Feeling pretty good about it. Like the way it looks. Finishes it off pretty good. I think the only thing that would maybe make it look nicer is if the screws were black, but it's not that big of a deal. So that's a wrap for today. Maybe later this evening, might mess with this, pulling this motor out again. Not too excited about that, but stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.